K7 once again. This is a Call of Duty Ghosts squad mode video, and I'm going to be giving my overview and my feelings about why I love the squad mode addition to Call of Duty Ghosts. So you might be wondering, well, what is squad mode? And for all intents and purposes, it's just combat training. It's combat training from Black Ops, just implemented into this game, and implemented with some slight changes and additions. Some bits not quite as good, some bits much better. And I'm just going to give you an overview of the game mode that I'm having the most fun with in this game. So the gameplay that you're watching right now is me running solo in squad modes, having fun with a weapon called, I believe it's the K7, which whenever I say K7 I always think K7 Avenger, which was an assault rifle on Perfect Dark. If you ever played the N64, it was a very powerful one as well, one of my favourites. And a lot of people are calling this the UMP of Call of Duty Ghosts, which I think that's, being a little bit too kind. As this gun doesn't have nowhere near the accuracy or the deadliness at range that weapon had. The only thing that they have in common is the fact that this gun is, I think, a 2-bullet kill up close, and it has a very similar iron sight. They're the only similarities. After that, vastly different guns. But this is one of my favourite submachine guns in a game where the submachine guns aren't that great. But what is, combat training? What is squad modes for the person watching this who's never played these games? It's never, encountered anything but the multiplayer and the lag fest and the kids that scream and shout and swear. Well, essentially it's the ability to play the multiplayer against AI, against the bots. It is, multiplayer PvE. And the best thing about it is it's based off of your connection. So when you play this game mode, you are essentially the host, and you're going to feel the same kind of latency that you would if you were the host, which is significantly better than connecting to a whole bunch of different people across the world. And one of the most negative aspects of the multiplayer in almost every Call of Duty for a lot of people is the connection, which is something that is mitigated for the most in squad mode and combat training. But something to bear in mind, folks, there is still lag. Your guns still aren't going to kill as quickly as, for instance, the AI does, because the bots do not have any latency whatsoever. They will 1 to 2 bullet kill you with every gun from some wicked distances. It's not really fair, but it's how the game works. You're playing on a live server that's using your bandwidth, and your weapon's not going to have, the punch that you might see other YouTubers or other videos or the AI, as I've mentioned, having. And it's something to bear in mind, and my connection in particular is one of the worst I can imagine. It fluctuates from dog shit to if it was a horse you would shoot it, which, as you can tell, is not very a good idea. But it still gets rid of a lot of the frustration online. For instance, I've tried to play this game twice online, and it took me about 10 minutes to get in a game because it kept trying to find a server or trying to find a game that suited my connection best. And at that time, whatever was happening, on the powers that be, it didn't find anything. It kept searching and searching and searching, and it got to the point where I just thought, balls to this, I'm going to do the squad modes. And this is where I've been having most of my fun. So a couple of pros and cons for people to bear in mind. The first thing is, obviously the game's maps are huge. This is the biggest maps that have pretty much ever been in Call of Duty, and they're designed that way because on the next-gen consoles it's 9v9 in every scenario. When it's 6v6, you definitely feel the weight of the maps. They're really big. There are times when you can circle the entire map and you don't even find an enemy. And the AI, for the most, is objectively minded. They will always try and push the objective, whatever that game mode may be. You see me doing Domination right now. The AI loves to hit flags, and it's that beautiful irony of the enemy team does nothing but cap flags and does it effectively, and your team doesn't. They just kind of ass apart, picking their nose, pretending. It's really strange. But the maps don't play so well with the bots because it's extremely difficult to manipulate the spawns. It's extremely difficult to get into opportunities where you can do 3 pieces like I did just then. A lot of them are just luck. Another downside to it, if you're familiar with combat training from previous installments of Call of Duty, is you can't change the game modes. You can't change anything, really. You have no control. And what they've done is they've added something that I've been wanting for a long time, which is map cycling, which is essentially the game just does what it does in the multiplayer, where it keeps putting you into another game, you wait in a lobby, there's a little intermission, and then you're back in a different game. And it'll alternate between a certain amount of game types, but those tend to be the Blitz mode, the Cranked mode, Kill Confirmed, Team Deathmatch and Domination. There's no Search and Rescue, there's no Demolition, there's no, whatever else you want to play that I've not forgot to mention. It kind of just cycles its own thing and you have no control over it, and I completely understand why they've done this. And the reason is this year you actually get experience for playing in squad mode, so you can get and build your character, unlock weapons, unlock squad points by fighting the AI. And to stop people from either exploiting this or doing it instead of playing the online, because as you know, the developers want you to be playing their online because they get a lovely bonus from Microsoft and I assume Sony. But that being said, squad modes is online, so it's kind of the same difference, which is a little bit confusing. But suffice to say, they want you to play against other people. They want you to be online all the time. They don't really want you to be doing what I'm doing here, which is killing bots, killing the computer. So they cap the experience you receive at 2,000 per game. As soon as you hit 2,000 experience, it's going to say you've reached the limit to experience in this match for squad modes, and if you were looking to level up at that point, you would quit out and then start a new game, or if you're not bothered, you just continue to play. But there's a problem to this because there is a feedback system that Call of Duty has where when you shoot somebody, it pops up saying 50 points, 100 points, and it's almost like the muscle memory of knowing when you've killed someone. And when it stops popping up, you'll find yourself putting in more bullets than is needed to kill people, or you'll think someone's alive when they're actually dead. And it's a pain in the ass, to be fair. I would have preferred the XP to be capped, to be halved rather than capped. That way you're constantly getting the feedback, but you're not using this mode to power level, and I don't know if you could cheat, but I suppose there's benefits to being a higher level, especially in this game where some of the perks you can only get really late on, which are some of the most powerful. But that's kind of strange. The fact that you can only get so much experience in this mode it makes a lot of sense, but it's still kind of shitty because I can't understand why they don't want people playing their game. It doesn't make much sense to me. But the AI itself I have to talk about because it's really, really good. And I read a comment on someone's video the other day which I thought was hilarious. The difficulty you're seeing right here, guys, is the lowest one. It's Recruit. But even then, these bots are not pushovers, man. They are better than most people you will play online unless those people know what they're doing. That is literally the distinction. When you play online, there's a handful of folks that kill you. There's a handful of folks that you can smash. It's just how it is. A lot of the gameplays that you watch by popular YouTubers are against the people that they could smash. They aren't the games that they had against the competitive teams because they don't want that. That's not going to give them the crazy gameplays. They want the retards that are licking windows. And a lot of people assume that the bots are going to be that. And this video probably isn't a good service of this because this makes them look like idiots, but they really aren't. It's kind of crazy what Infinity Ward have managed to do. This is by far the most challenging the bots have ever been on any Call of Duty. They act the smartest, they're the most dynamic, they do the most creative things. They play a lot like people. And somebody was complaining on a comment on a video the other day that I was looking at, and he basically said, the bots sum up this game or Call of Duty completely. Camping bitches and nothing else. Because the bots actually camp. And the guy got this completely wrong, and it's kind of funny because what the bots are doing is the bots are simulating how people play. So it's not the bots camping, it's the fact that the people who play this game camp, and thus they program the bots to do the same. It's just how it is. The bots will defend things, they'll come back on themselves, They do a lot of stuff. One of the weaker things they do is they fire from the hip and they have perfect aim. So they will kill you faster than any human player could ever wish to kill you. So it's something to bear in mind, but I really enjoy squad modes. I have a lot of plans for it. I didn't show any kill streaks then, guys, because I'm going to wait until theatre mode is unlocked or patched in or however they're going to do, so I can use fancy trickery and camera work. But until then, I'll just show gun streaks and really hectic games of domination. But if you enjoy watching it, please show your support, and as always, you take care now.